Our world hides horrors so chilling, even science dares not speak. A lake that petrifies life in seconds, ancient mummies cursed with death, and unholy screams rising from the depths of the earth. These aren't just strange phenomena, they're gateways to a shadow realm where reality unravels and nightmares take root. Welcome to the top 8 most bizarre and terrifying mysteries of the world. If you have the courage, enter.
Mystery number 1. Sounds from hell. Screams from under the Siberian earth. The deepest hole in human history. Did it perhaps drill through the boundary of hell? Opening scene. A shocking radio broadcast. I don't want anyone to experience what I heard underground. That sound, it can't be from the living. Anonymous geologist, called to Finnish radio station, 1989. It all began like an urban legend. An engineer who worked on the deep drilling project in Siberia called a late-night radio show, his voice trembling and choked with emotion. He said the scientific team had drilled to an unprecedented depth, and then they heard screams echoing from beneath the earth. Just weeks later, a recording surfaced. A horrifying sound, like thousands of souls being burned alive, sending chills down the spine of anyone who heard it. Science behind the dark curtain, the deepest drilling project in history. Beneath the eerie surface lies a very real project. The Kola Super Deep Borehole, the deepest research drilling program in human history. Location, remote northern Russia, Kola Peninsula near the Arctic Circle. Depth, 1,262 meters, deeper than the Mariana Trench. Purpose, to study geological structure and understand the planet's history. Started 1970, lasted 24 years, but ended abruptly and mysteriously. According to leaked classified documents, the project was halted not due to lack of funding, but because of undisclosed reasons. Sounds from Hell, the recording that terrified the world. We lowered the sound sensor into the hole, and then all of us stood frozen in silence. From the chief engineer's anonymous letter. The recorded sound lasted over a minute, including whistling wind, clashing metal, crackling fire, and suddenly, mournful synchronized screams that pierced the mind. The Trinity Broadcasting Network, TBN, in the US replayed the tape. The host exclaimed, "If anyone still doubts hell, listen to this tape." The recording quickly spread worldwide, dubbed Screams from Hell. Eyewitnesses, people who were never the same again. A Norwegian reporter traced the clues to the village of Zapolyarny near the drilling site. Anna Ivanova, a nurse who worked near the research camp, recalled, "One night I saw people in white coats running out of the camp. Some knelt down, clutching their heads, crying uncontrollably. They said they heard the voices of the dead from the bottom of the hole." Mikhail Petrov, a former guard, said, "I heard my name being called, inside my head, but I was on the surface. I quit the project after that night. I'm haunted to this day." Notes from a leaked scientist's diary. Temperature spiked abnormally. The sound system recorded vibrations resembling human voices. But no one was down there. No one at all. What does science say? Reason facing the abyss. Since the Sounds from Hell recording leaked, the scientific community split into 2 clear camps. Skeptics who say it's a hoax, and others, though not publicly, who believe something irrational truly happened. The skeptics. No sounds from hell. Dr. David Petrovich, a geophysicist who worked with the Moscow Geological Research Institute, stated, "There are no official reports of recordings at 12 km depth, simply because at that depth, pressure and temperature destroy all conventional recording devices." He also pointed out that a sound clip circulated online in the 1990s resembles audio effects mixed with software, with cyclic repeated screams, a sign of edited audio files. The Skeptical Inquirer magazine published a technical analysis by Stephen Schiefer, a sound engineer at the University of Oregon, confirming, This recording contains multiple layers of sound with heterogeneous frequencies and reverberations. It cannot come from a sealed underground space without acoustic feedback. In other words, it's not real, or at least, not naturally recorded. The unexplained camp. Reason facing the impossible. However, some other scientists, especially those who directly participated in the Kola project, do not completely dismiss the strange phenomenon. Dr. Mikhail Kurkov, an expert in Earth's crust thermodynamics, spoke at a closed seminar in 1998. I don't claim it screams from hell, but I also can't say it's a technical fault. When you place a microphone in a space where no one has ever placed one before and receive sounds that the brain cannot interpret, all logical concepts begin to falter. He added, "At that rock layer, the temperature was not only higher than expected, but there was a strange variation in the local magnetic field, as if an unknown form of energy existed." Dr. Anna Solovieva, a Russian neuroarchaeologist who secretly studied the effects of underground sounds with a metaphysics group, shared in an anonymous interview. "I analyzed the original audio from an old device brought by an engineer, the unprocessed version. It contained ultrasonic layers inaudible to the human ear but affecting emotional nerves and human cognition. After 40 minutes of analysis, I hallucinated that someone was calling me from below." The dark moments of science. Some internal reports never officially published but leaked by engineers involved in the Kola project reveal. A physicist named Nikolai Kramov locked himself in a lab for 3 days after hearing the recording, leaving a scrawled message on the wall in blood. "Below us are they, and they are awakening." A seismic research group in Germany, after accessing the recording and wave signals from Kola, stated in an unofficial report, "If these are echoes of rock, then the rock itself remembers. If not, then what we call dead matter hides a form of consciousness never defined by science." The most rational explanation, but still insufficient. Some modern scientists, like Professor Jonathan Winfield, UK Geophysics Institute, propose a neutral theory. It is very likely that the sound is a combination of seismic activity, rock cracking, gas-filled hollow core, and low-frequency echo effects, creating sounds that the brain associates with human voices. However, even he concluded, "No study has replicated the exact same sound under laboratory conditions. Whether acoustics, magnetic fields, or ultra-low frequencies, all remain at the level of approximate simulation." So, has the door of science opened or closed? For decades, the Kola Super Deep Borehole remains one of the greatest scientific works never fully understood. And the sounds from hell, whether truth, hoax, or an unnamed phenomenon, still divide the scientific community. In conclusion, perhaps as geology professor Anatoly Smirnov said in 2001, "Maybe we didn't find hell, but we found something even scarier, the meaninglessness of what we once believed was reason." Other chilling theories touched the layer of hell. In Russian Orthodox theology, hell lies deep beneath the earth, a place imprisoning sinful souls. Many believe humans drilled into a forbidden zone where souls have been sealed for millennia. Space-time rupture? A hypothesis suggests the deep hole is a space-time portal, where sounds from other dimensions echo back. A metaphysical corridor where echoes of suffering have been preserved for thousands of years. Warning from other dimensions? That cry is not meant for us to hear. It is a warning, but we heard it and cannot ignore it. Statement from a Russian Orthodox priest. End or a warning of disaster. The Kola project ended in the early 1990s. The hole was sealed, and no one was allowed access. Official reports cite financial reasons, but insiders know everything went beyond the control of science. To this day, the tape remains controversial, but whenever it is replayed online, people faint, panic, or claim to be haunted. Final word. We have drilled to the bottom of the earth, and may have heard something humans should not know. Is there an invisible door that we, driven by curiosity, accidentally opened? Hell is not just a religious concept. Perhaps it is a layer of reality that we inadvertently stepped into. From Dr. Karl Henschler, German physicist, 1990s. Mystery number 2. Under the Antarctic ice sheet. Million-year-old monster or a gateway to another world? Introduction. The White Snow Hell. Antarctica, a cold, desolate continent almost uninhabited, hides one of humanity's most terrifying and puzzling mysteries. Blurred satellite images, unusual no-fly zones, missing expeditions leaving no trace, and especially strange sounds emanating from beneath the ice, all paint a horrifying picture of an ancient unknown entity sleeping under kilometers of thick ice. Chilling testimony from a surviving witness. During an expedition sponsored by the ANZ organization in 2001, a Norwegian biologist named Erik van Dorsen miraculously survived after his team went missing at Lake Vostok, a massive subglacial lake frozen for millions of years. We drilled through the ice, reached an air chamber, then suddenly, the equipment started to malfunction. Sensors signaled a large moving object at the bottom of the lake. When I leaned over the drill hole, I heard something. Roaring, dragging sounds, mixed with noises like claws scraping the ice. I had never heard any sound, unlike any animal on Earth. Erik returned with white hair, constantly talking about a red eye beneath the ice. Shortly after, he was isolated in a U.S. military facility and never appeared publicly again. In July 2001, an international research team from the Ice Horizon Project drilled deep into the Antarctic ice in Princess Elizabeth Land to survey ancient sediment layers. After 9 continuous days of drilling, they discovered a huge hollow cavity nearly 3,700 meters beneath the ice. When one of the infrared detectors was lowered, the signal was abruptly cut off, accompanied by strange sounds like growling and the howling screams of a living creature. Dr. Harold Peterson, the only survivor rescued after the incident, recounted in panic. "We thought we found an ice cave, but it wasn't natural. The rock walls there were smooth like mirrors, with symbols resembling writing, and as we went deeper, I heard whispers in a language I had never heard before. Then something moved in the darkness. We never saw John and Elena again." After returning to the U.S., Harold quickly resigned and never spoke of the event again. All documents, data, and videos from the project were confiscated for national security reasons. Scientific deciphering. Is an ancient gateway opening? Scientists have discovered dozens of lakes buried deep beneath the Antarctic ice, places untouched by light for millions of years. Some notable hypotheses. Lake Vostok contains DNA samples that do not match any known modern organisms. This was published in 2012 by a Russian research team. However, just days later, all data was withdrawn, citing sample contamination. In 2016, NASA satellites detected unusual heat and radio wave signals from the Ellsworth region, but the results were sealed. Professor Linda Morrison from Oxford University stated, "What we measure from Antarctica does not follow any known laws. It could be a geological phenomenon or something deeper, alive, and watching us from beneath the ice." Scientists from the International Geophysics Institute confirmed the existence of geothermal cavities under the Antarctic ice, where temperatures can reach 20 degrees Celsius thanks to ancient lava flows. Some areas also revealed regularly shaped dome structures, tens of meters high, with abnormal magnetic fields, resembling signs of a buried artificial construction. Dr. Linda Morse, MIT, commented, "We do not rule out the possibility that Antarctica was once home to a forgotten civilization. In fact, some data suggest the existence of an unknown biological entity beneath it." Notably, ice-penetrating radar recorded very slow movements, like crawling or slithering creatures, in some ice cavities. But when cameras were sent down, the signals completely disappeared. Spiritual perspective. Extraterrestrial entity or sealed demon. For thousands of years, indigenous peoples in South America have called Antarctica the holy land of imprisoned souls. Many Mapuche and Aymara legends mention an ice gate where monsters from the dawn of time are eternally imprisoned by the gods. The famous psychic Edgar Cayce declared in 1938, "One day, beneath the Antarctic ice, a giant creature, not human, will awaken, and that will be the sign heralding the end of the current cycle." Some spiritual researchers believe Antarctica is the seventh gate to the underworld, and the sounds from beneath the earth are the calls of a sealed entity. Some mystics and spiritualists claim the Antarctic core is the Black Gate, where ancient entities have been imprisoned since chaotic times. Chilean shaman Juan del Cielo, during a trance, declared, "There is an ancient spirit not of this world sleeping beneath the ice. When awakened, the rift between dimensions will occur." Similarly, a Hermetic priest in Europe affirmed, "Antarctica is the eighth gate in the sacred seal map of the ancient gods. If opened, darkness will flood in." Mysterious theories, terrifying and imaginative. 1. Ancient Cambrian monster, a giant creature millions of years old, perfectly preserved in the icy environment, now gradually awakening. 2. Base of an extraterrestrial civilization, a triangular structure discovered in 2012 via satellite images leads many to believe it is a buried mothership. 3. Entrance to Hollow Earth. Many ancient maps indicate a mysterious opening in Antarctica, possibly a gateway to an underground world full of unknown creatures. 4. Hidden inhumane experiments. Some leaked World War II documents suggest Nazis built a base here and discovered something that should not be awakened. Unanswered questions. What is moving beneath the million-year-old ice? What happened to the 2001 research team that the government keeps secret? Why are Antarctic expedition results often banned from publication? What are governments hiding? And most importantly, do we really want to awaken what sleeps beneath that ice? Conclusion. Antarctica. Not just a cold continent, but possibly the prison of the planet's most horrifying secrets. Beneath that thick ice, is it a prehistoric monster, an extraterrestrial entity, or worse, a gateway to another dimension where nightmares reign? The ice is melting, and the truth is slowly emerging with it. Mystery number 3. The Bermuda Triangle. The place where the gate of hell opens? Planes disappear, ships leave no trace, and signals no one can decode. Introduction. The Whisper of the Ocean. We are entering white water. Nothing is real. Everything is strange. We don't know where we are. The last message from Flight 19 Squadron, 1945. For centuries, a sea area in the Atlantic Ocean called the Bermuda Triangle has become a nightmare for sailors and pilots. It is not only the site of hundreds of strange disappearances, but also the center of chilling hypotheses, space portals, ancient civilizations, abnormal energy waves, or even the entrance to hell. Bermuda, the coordinates of mystery. The Bermuda Triangle is the area connecting 3 points: Miami, Florida, USA, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Bermuda Island, UK territory. Area about 500,000 kilometers with very high maritime and air traffic density. But the unusual thing is, many disappearances leave no wreckage, distress signals, or any trace. Shocking disappearances. Flight 19, the Ghost Squadron, 1945. On December 5th, 1945, U.S. Navy TBM Avenger bombers flew training over Bermuda. After a few hours, the entire squadron lost contact. A search plane later also vanished without a trace. A total of 27 people went missing. No distress signals, no wreckage. Everything looks strange. Even the ocean doesn't seem normal. Pilot's words before disappearing. USS Cyclops. The black hole that swallowed the ship. 1918. A supply ship weighing over 19,000 tons, carrying 309 people and thousands of tons of manganese ore. Disappeared without sending any distress signal. No survivors, no ship remains, no explanation. The press called this one of the most mysterious disasters in U.S. Navy history. Chilling testimonies from witnesses. Story from Captain David Harrow. David Harrow, captain of a cargo ship passing through the Bermuda Triangle in 1978, still cannot forget what he witnessed. We were caught in a sudden storm, waves as high as mountains, wind howling like the wails of the dead. Suddenly, all electronic equipment on the ship shut down. The compass spun wildly. Radar showed nothing. Not only that, at times I felt a cold chill run down my spine, as if someone was standing right behind me, but when I turned around, there was only thick fog covering the entire ship. In panic, the crew saw strange lights emanating from the sea surface. Dark shadows circling the ship's side like eerie shapes, seemingly following the ship and emitting echoing howls, unnatural screams not of ordinary humans. The call of the missing one of the survivors on the mysteriously disappeared Flight 19, recounted via an emergency radio call before vanishing. "This is Flight 19. We cannot determine our direction. The compass is spinning wildly. Radio waves are heavily disturbed. There are voices not from the pilots, screams, moans echoing into the cockpit, causing panic. I feel like I'm being pulled into another world." Other stories. Many shipwreck survivors said they felt held back by someone, sometimes feeling like sinking into a time maze. Rescuers who came to this area described feeling watched by invisible dark shadows, hearing eerie giggles coming from beneath the water. Science and unsolved mysteries. Unusual geological phenomena. Geologist Dr. Alan Weiss from the University of Miami stated, "The Bermuda Triangle lies over a deep sea area with complex terrain and many methane gas deposits under the seabed. Methane eruptions can reduce water density, causing ships to lose buoyancy and sink suddenly. But strangely, many disappearances occurred even when weather conditions were stable, with no signs of eruptions or large waves. Electromagnetic phenomena and the wave dream physicists like Professor Kevin Martinez from the Electromagnetic Wave Research Center say, this sea area emits extremely complex and strong electromagnetic oscillations, directly affecting electronic devices such as compasses, radars, radios. Some measurements show electromagnetic fields changing irregularly. This leads to navigation devices being disabled, causing disorientation and panic for those in the area. Multidimensional theory and space-time holes. Some theoretical physicists propose the Bermuda Triangle may be a place where space-time gaps exist, gateways to parallel dimensions. This is a region where normal physical laws no longer apply, causing disappearances and time distortions. Although intriguing, this theory has not yet been proven with clear scientific evidence. Spiritual perspective. The gate of hell, opening in the sea. Ancient legends. According to the legends of the native Caribbean people and Atlantic coastal tribes, the Bermuda Triangle is the gate of hell opening to the dark world. The ancients believed that cursed souls and evil entities dwell here. Many stories say that restless souls and demons imprisoned in this sea area are always trying to escape to spread terror to the living world. Mystical researcher Lydia Blackwood shared, dense evil energy and darkness. Spiritual master Carlos Ramirez, an expert in yin-yang energy, explained, this sea area is a convergence of dark energy, a type of energy very difficult for humans to understand and control. The appearance of dark shadows, howling sounds, the feeling of being watched, are manifestations of evil energy from the underworld. Sealing rituals locals use to hold rituals to seal the Bermuda Triangle by praying to gods for protection and to suppress dark forces. Nevertheless, many captains still avoid this area at night because the chilling feeling and strange phenomena continue to haunt. Mysterious theories. Chilling and imaginative space gate, dimensional vortex. Some believe Bermuda is a place where a space gate opens and swallows objects, similar to the theoretical physics description of a wormhole. Some pilots reported clocks spinning wildly, losing sense of time and space. We flew through a huge round cloud, then the sky changed color, and everything disappeared. Bruce Gurnon, a pilot who claimed to have survived flying over Bermuda. Technology from Atlantis? Many researchers speculate Atlantis ruins lie beneath Bermuda, possibly still operating with giant crystal energy. Some sonar images show pyramid-like structures on the seabed near Cuba. Atlantis might have been an advanced civilization using crystal energy. If it reactivates, it could cause large-scale electromagnetic disturbances. Dr. Ray Brown, Ocean Explorer. Entrance to hell or another dimension. Some beliefs hold that this is where restless souls gather, or a gateway to a demonic dimension. Local folklore describes giant dark shadows underwater, swirling lights sucked into the sky. Unanswered questions. Does Bermuda really contain a dimensional gate, or is it simply a combination of extreme natural phenomena? Why are some ships and planes found thousands of kilometers away with no one knowing where they went? Is modern science hiding something about Bermuda? Conclusion. The mystery remains open. The Bermuda Sea area is like a tear on the world map, where the laws of physics seem to bend. And perhaps, somewhere deep beneath the ocean floor, an ancient secret, a door never fully opened, is still waiting. Mystery number 4. Ong's Hat Town, a gateway to parallel universes? A town that doesn't exist on the map. Hidden deep within the New Jersey Pine Barrens forest, where the trees seem to whisper forbidden secrets in the dark, lies a place you won't find on any official map. Ong's Hat. The name sounds silly, but behind it is one of the most chilling and bizarre conspiracy theories of the 20th century. Legend has it that in the 1970s, a group of scientists expelled by the US government for unethical research gathered here, in an old building in the woods, to pursue a crazy ambition: traveling to parallel universes. The experiment of the Institute of Chaotic Research. Leaked documents from a book titled Ong's Hat: The Beginning by Joseph Matheny reveal. This group of scientists called themselves the Institute of Chaotic Research. In that ramshackle hut, they built a spherical machine called the Egg, designed to completely isolate matter from three-dimensional space. A member named Dr. Emile Darnell, who studied meditation and quantum physics, claimed to have sent a child inside this sphere. When they opened the door after a few minutes, the child had vanished, leaving only heat and a strong ozone smell. But 2 days later, the boy returned with hollow eyes, speaking in a hoarse, repetitive voice. There is no time, no mother, only me, but not this me. Chilling testimonies from surviving witnesses. Witness No. 1, Caleb Rourke, a hunter living near the Pine Barrens forest. It was winter 1992. I went into the forest to hunt deer around 4 p.m., but the sun set unusually fast. When I looked at my watch, it had stopped at 4:16. Caleb said that when he passed through an area called the Gray Zone, where the ruins of the house used by the Institute of Chaotic Research once stood, he heard a mechanical whirring, then a flash of bluish-white light like mercury vapor lamps. I saw a child standing there, back turned. He wore old-fashioned clothes like from the previous century. I called to him. No answer. When I got closer, he turned around, his face blurred as if distorted by heat waves. But his eyes had no pupils, completely black. Caleb fell down. When he woke up, it was dawn, and his watch was still stopped. But the scary part was the GoPro camera on his chest recorded whispering voices for 3 hours. Audio experts analyzed the recording and said, "This is not human speech. The sound frequencies fluctuate beyond the vocal cord's capability. Sometimes there are deep frequencies like echoes from kilometers deep underground." Witness No. 2, Marina Elbridge, an ethnographic researcher. Marina investigated the area at a university's invitation in 1998. In her diary, she disappeared in 2001 under unclear circumstances. There is a passage. "I keep dreaming of a small wooden door covered in moss. In the dream, I open it and see another forest, taller trees, no sound, but there is me. Another person with my face, but empty eyes." What does science say? Initially, the academic community considered Ong's Hat just an ARG, alternate reality game, a fictional role-playing game. However, a series of strange coincidental events led many scholars to reconsider the scientific possibilities behind it. Abnormal magnetic and radio wave phenomena. A 2003 report from the Geophysics Research Group at Rutgers University noted, the Pine Barrens Forest area near Ong's Hat shows abnormal magnetic field behavior, irregular fluctuations, fragmented radio frequencies, and unexplained interference. A radio station placed in the forest recorded reverse sweep radio waves, a phenomenon only seen in vacuum lab environments or neutron explosions. Multiverse theory and quantum mechanics. Dr. Fred Alan Wolf, a famous quantum physicist known for his work on consciousness and reality, once said, "We are used to thinking there is only one world, but quantum physics has shattered that assumption. If there is enough energy and the right frequency conditions, it is entirely possible to jump between layers of reality." Some theories suggest that the machine, the egg, functions as a quantum frequency resonator, creating a spatial phase transition phenomenon similar to the Casimir effect, where vacuum generates microgravitational forces capable of bending space-time. Leaked classified documents. A leaked document from the National Archives, later retracted, with the code NSSA Theta 233 Delta states, the project involving reality interference and the concept of overlapping realities was observed in the Ong's Hat area in 1981, to be kept strictly confidential to avoid public impact. Spiritual perspective. A demonic gate or a soul retention place? Since ancient times, the Pine Barrens Forest has been considered forbidden territory. The Lenape natives passed down stories of the White Ghost, a spirit guarding the Soul Gate, where souls not yet freed wander and are trapped between two worlds. Exorcism records. Father Antonio Riviv, Jesuit, 1987. In a diary kept at the Trenton Diocese, he described a 6-hour exorcism ritual where he and 3 assistant priests heard laughter from different directions, though no one else was present. When I raised the cross, the wind suddenly changed direction, and all candles went out simultaneously. A voice echoed, "You cannot drive away what never lived." He wrote further, "I believe this is the intersection between lost souls and distorted reality. What we call demons may just be residual energy from parallel realities." Modern spiritual assessment. Tibetan Vajrayana Master Yeshe Rangdol. At a 2008 seminar in Bhutan, when asked about lands opening to other dimensions, Master Rangdol replied, "Some places on Earth are intersections between Bardo, the intermediate state after death, and the living world. Deep meditators, if karmically ready, can see multiple layers of reality stacked like still water disturbed." Final word. Science fiction or warning. Joseph Matheny, who is said to have invented the entire Ong's Hat story, mysteriously disappeared in 2004 without a trace. A friend whispered at a conference, "If this was a joke, why disappear? And if not, maybe he found the real door and stepped through." Do you dare believe this reality is the only one? Or are we lost among countless waves of what might have once been? Mystery number 5. The Iceman Otzi, a 5,300-year-old mummy that moved on its own, and a deadly curse. A frozen mummy slept peacefully for 5 millennia. But when awakened, death began to call out the names of those who approached it one by one. Shocking discovery. The prehistoric time traveler. In September 1991, a German couple hiking along the Alps on the border between Austria and Italy accidentally spotted something strange protruding from the melting ice. At first, they thought it was the body of an unfortunate mountaineer, but when the archaeological team arrived, they were stunned. A complete mummy, still with skin, hair, clothing, and weapons. Naturally preserved in ice for 5,300 years, dating back to the Copper Age. Named Utsi, after the Uts Valley where it was found. This is one of the most well-preserved ancient human mummies ever discovered on Earth. Unexpected findings from the dead body. Analysis results from researchers painted a shocking picture of Utsi's death. An arrow pierced his back, a deep tear on his hand, indicating he was attacked and murdered. Undigested food was found in his stomach. he died just hours after eating. His body contained heavy metals and disease-causing bacteria, and even therapeutic tattoos. Medical and archaeological experts said, "We are not just facing a mummy, but a person, with an untold story still lingering." Strange deaths, the Iceman's curse? Since 1991, at least 7 people directly involved in excavating, researching, or preserving Ötzi's mummy have died suddenly and mysteriously. Helmut Simon, the discoverer of the mummy, went missing on a mountain climbing trip. 8 days later, his body was found in a stiff posture, identical to Ötzi's mummy pose. Strangely, around the exact day Ötzi was discovered, the weather suddenly turned unusually bad. Konrad Spindler, the leading archaeologist analyzing the mummy, joked once, "A curse? We live in the 20th century." A few years later, he died from a rare neurodegenerative disease, suddenly and without clear reason. Dieter Warnecke, leader of the search team for Helmut Simon's body, died of a sudden heart attack at age 45 with no history of heart disease. His death occurred just hours after attending Simon's funeral. Rainer Henn, the first forensic expert to examine Ötzi, died in a car accident on the way to a conference about the mummy. The list goes on. All were healthy individuals. Many died on anniversaries related to the mummy. Coincidence or an ancient spiritual bond? Witness accounts, ghosts and unexplainable phenomena, security cameras and mysterious movements. The South Tyrol Museum, where Ötzi is displayed, recorded unusual slight movements of the body inside the glass case. The hand moved a few millimeters between 2 3D scans. A museum staff member said, "I saw his hand change direction, but no one believed me." Whispers in the night. A museum guard recounted, "I heard vague moaning coming from the storage room." Another researcher even claimed to hear his name called when alone with Ötzi at night. Scientific analysis, decoding the strange phenomena. Microscopic movement caused by heat? Some scientists suggest that tiny changes in humidity, light, and temperature could cause slight contraction and expansion of the mummy's tissues. But why do movements only happen on the deceased's death anniversary? Why does only one side of the body move, as if pointing somewhere? Collective hallucination? The hypothesis is that researchers under high psychological pressure are easily obsessed. But the coincidence of timing, circumstances, and manner of death of the victims weakens this theory. Spiritual perspective, a soul unrested? During a secret memorial ceremony held by shaman priests in the Alps, a medium said, "Ötzi did not die peacefully. He was betrayed and murdered. His soul still seeks justice." A Tibetan monk visiting the museum also sensed, "There is a very strong spiritual force clinging to this mummy. Do not touch him without permission." Warning, a relic or a spiritual vessel? Ötzi's mummy now rests quietly in a temperature-controlled room, inside UV-protected glass, monitored 24/7. But many believe, whenever someone approaches with disrespectful curiosity, he knows, and he will respond. Conclusion: we think we are studying the past, but sometimes the past is watching us. Is there an unwritten law? A spiritual boundary that once crossed, even by mere archaeological greed, demands payment with one's life. The dead should be left alone, because when they awaken, none of us will live in peace anymore. Excerpt from the secret diary of archaeologist Konrad Spindler, written before his death. Mystery number 6, the land of no return. The gateway to the shadow world on the Atacama Plateau. Introduction. The land of the missing. In the Atacama Plateau, Chile, the driest and most brutal place on Earth, there exists a land that the indigenous people call by a haunting name. El lugar del no retorno. The land of no return. This is not a random name, but a tragic warning about those who have stepped in and never come back. Chilling testimonies from witnesses. Carlos Mendoza, a Chilean explorer and archaeologist who led an expedition to this area in 2015, described with a trembling voice, "We entered this land with the toughest mindset, well prepared, but immediately felt something not of this world. My compass spun wildly, GPS devices lost all signal, even though we stood in the middle of the empty desert. Everything began to blur. Thick fog like a black curtain wrapped around us, making everything eerie. Even now, I still hear whispers around my ears, like someone calling my name, but no one in the group said a word. We saw dark shadows moving across our sight, but when we looked closely, there was nothing but sand and rocks. And the most terrifying thing, one of my team members named Javier suddenly vanished into thin air. We searched everywhere, called his name hoarsely, but no trace, no sound, as if he was swallowed by this land. Maria Castillo, a local tour guide, also witnessed many strange phenomena while leading visitors to the edge of the land of no return. The indigenous people have long told stories about this land as a place no one dares to approach, guarded by the souls of the dead. Many who got lost here returned in a panic with blank eyes, unable to remember what happened. Some said they felt pulled underground, heard painful screams, and sometimes saw ghostly figures appear right before their eyes. No one knows if these were real or hallucinations caused by the harsh environment. What does science say? The unsolved mystery. Scientists have conducted many surveys in Atacama, but still cannot fully explain the strange phenomena in the land of no return. Dr. Alberto Ramirez, a geologist at the University of Chile, stated, "This land contains many toxic minerals such as arsenic and heavy metal compounds, which can cause hallucinations and affect the human nervous system with prolonged exposure." The compass and GPS signal loss is also thought to be caused by electromagnetic interference from special minerals underground. But this is only a hypothesis. However, the mysterious disappearances cannot be explained solely by natural phenomena. This remains an open question that science has yet to answer. Professor Elena Mora, an electromagnetic physicist, commented, "The abnormal electromagnetic fluctuations in this area are very complex and unstable. They create a chaotic environment for electronic devices and can affect the human brain, causing confusion, disorientation, and even out-of-body experiences. But this could also be a gateway to phenomena that science cannot yet reach, such as interactions between different dimensions." Spiritual perspective. Gateway to hell or door to the shadow world? According to the indigenous Atacama people's legend, the land of no return is a meeting point between the world of the living and the shadow world. Shaman Pedro Quispe, keeper of the tribe's spiritual traditions, said, "This is not just a dead land, but a door opening to another world. Tormented souls, restless spirits, and even demons are trapped there, unable to move on. Whoever steps in is sucked into endless darkness, where there is no tomorrow. Sighs, cries, and screams echo everywhere. Those lucky enough to return often carry a curse, haunted for life." A famous Chilean psychic, Isabella Torres, shared, "When I approached that land, I felt a dense black energy layer, like a curtain covering everything. Many dark souls tried to communicate, pleading but also full of anger. I clearly saw blurry shadows, distorted, painful faces, as if tightly bound in another space. This land is a trap for unhappy souls, where the boundary between worlds almost disappears." Mysterious theories, terrifying and imaginative. The dead land of Atacama not only puzzles scientists, but also serves as a goldmine for eerie mystical theories that ignite human imagination. Here are some of the most frightening and strange hypotheses about the cause of the land of no return. A gateway to parallel dimensions. A popular theory suggests this land is a convergence point between the real world and parallel dimensions. Many witnesses recount feeling pulled into an invisible door, where they see distorted images and unclear shadowy figures existing alongside our world. Some believe that once drawn in, people get lost in other dimensions and cannot return to the real world. The Hell Gate, the link between life and death. Local legend emphasizes that this land is where the gate of hell opens, a communication point between the living world and the realm of demons and dark spirits. People believe the screams in the wind and fleeting dark shadows are trapped souls calling for help, seeking release, but forever held back. Could this be where darkness from hell truly touches the earthly realm? Influence of extraterrestrials or supernatural entities. Some believe this strange land is where extraterrestrial beings or supernatural entities operate. The mysterious disappearances might be due to their intervention, capturing people, experimenting, or using it as a portal to travel between dimensions. Is Atacama a secret transit station between Earth and other cosmic civilizations? Eerie energy and ancient curse. According to some psychics and folklore, this land is haunted by an ancient curse, possibly from a fierce spiritual battle thousands of years ago. The dense negative energy creates an invisible toxic zone, causing hallucinations, panic, and even possession of souls who set foot here. Perhaps this is the burial ground of cursed souls, a forbidden place no one is allowed to enter. Unanswered questions. Despite modern science's efforts to decode it, many perplexing questions remain in the dark. Why do electronic devices like compasses and GPS lose all signal completely in this land, even without obvious physical obstructions? Are the dark shadows and ghostly sounds truly hallucinations caused by the harsh environment, or signs of invisible entities existing parallel to us? Are these mysterious phenomena manifestations of spiritual energy lingering for thousands of years? Or are they actual gateways to another world, a parallel dimension science cannot yet explain? Are the missing people really drawn into other dimensions? Or are they captured and hidden by supernatural forces unknown to humans? Can this land communicate or awaken when people arrive, explaining the strange sounds echoing in the wind and the haunting calls heard at night? Summary: the unsolved mystery. The land of no return on the Atacama Plateau is one of the most eerie and terrifying mysteries on the planet. Here, science and spirituality collide, creating a space both real and surreal, where people can get trapped between dimensions drawn by horrifying sounds and invisible shadows. Do you believe the terrifying stories of those who have set foot in this dead land? Would you dare to enter the gate of hell that people shudder to mention? Or is this just a mystery waiting for modern science to find the final answer? Mystery number 7. Lake Natron, the petrifying lake of creatures, Tanzania, the gateway to the dark world. Introduction. In the arid lands of Tanzania, a blood-red lake named Natron emerges as a bizarre dark spot, reigning in deadly silence. Lake Natron is not only a strangely beautiful natural spectacle, but also a haunting, petrified graveyard. Hundreds of animal carcasses, birds, fish, even larger creatures, lie motionless, stiff as stone statues under the scorching African sun. These bodies do not decompose but seem trapped in a living fossil shell, chilling anyone who witnesses them. Terrifying testimony from a survivor. John Matthews, a British explorer who had the chance to approach Lake Natron during his African wilderness research, recounted with a trembling voice, "At first, I thought it was just a normal salt lake, but as I got closer, everything became terrifying. The stench of rotting carcasses mixed with the scorching heat created a suffocating atmosphere. I saw birds' bodies laid out on the shore, their wings spread as if trying to fly one last time, eyes wide open staring straight at me. The lake's surface reflected a blood-red light, making me feel like I was standing before the gates of hell." A Maasai local, Mrs. Nakara, shared, "Our ancestors told us this lake is where souls are imprisoned. At night, many hear cries and eerie moans echoing from the lake. Once, a group of curious youths approached and said they saw human-like shadows appear beneath the water and then vanish without a trace." Not only John Matthews, but many other explorers and researchers who approached Lake Natron shared experiences that sent chills down the spine. Sarah O'Connell, an ecologist from Australia, wrote in her research journal, "On the first night by the lake, I heard mournful cries coming from the water, whispers so faint yet enough to make my heart race. At times, I saw shadowy figures flickering beneath the misty surface. No one in the group wanted to talk about it afterward because we all felt something not of this world was watching. Some locals dare not approach the lake after witnessing the petrified animal carcasses, believing the lake is a repository for souls and monsters from ancient times, beings sealed away and never leaving. Scientific explanation. The darkness still veils. According to scientists, Lake Natron is one of the most alkaline salt lakes in the world, with a pH measured up to 10.5. The water contains large amounts of sodium carbonate and bicarbonate, combined with minerals and microorganisms specially adapted to survive in these extreme conditions. It is also the only habitat for bacteria that metabolize alkaline compounds, producing the lake's characteristic red color. Chemistry professor Lydia Manara, who directly studied the lake, explained, "When animals die and fall into Lake Natron's water, the high alkalinity combined with the scorching heat causes a chemical reaction that quickly hardens the carcasses. A form of natural fossilization, but without the long geological petrification process. This is an extremely rare phenomenon worldwide. However, these rare and strange phenomena open a mysterious veil. Why do some animal carcasses remain almost perfectly intact, down to every feather and skin layer without decomposing? And what causes the mysterious sounds echoing from the lake at nightfall? Skeptical science. Unanswered questions. Some strict scientists argue that all these are natural phenomena, that Lake Natron is just a harsh environment with nothing mystical. Yet even they admit they cannot fully explain the strange occurrences. Dr. James Henderson, an ecologist who worked around the lake, admitted, "We found bird and fish carcasses that, according to scientific observation, have existed for decades without decomposing, still maintaining their shape. This is very puzzling in biology, because under harsh sunlight, organic matter usually decomposes quickly. Moreover, there are many reports of bizarre phenomena such as strange lights, sounds like crying, murmurs as if some creature exists beneath the lake's bottom invisible to the naked eye." Bewitching moments of the scientific community. One evening in July 2019, a research team led by Dr. Helen Marlowe recorded strange audio signals from the lake's depths. The sounds could not be explained by equipment, like whispers from an invisible realm, Dr. Marlowe said. This led some scientists to admit that Lake Natron might be linked to phenomena beyond current scientific understanding, opening many hypotheses about the existence of parallel dimensions or mystical entities. The most reasonable explanation, yet still not enough. The most reasonable explanation today remains based on the lake's unique chemical properties and environment. But the mysterious sounds, the preservation of intact carcasses, and other strange phenomena remain big questions. Dr. Erica Winston, a biologist, said, "We can describe the petrification phenomenon, but whether the lake hides something unknown, a mysterious energy, no one is sure." So, has the scientific door opened or closed? The question remains open. Is Lake Natron merely a strange geological and chemical phenomenon? Or is it a gateway to another world, a dark dimension where imprisoned souls and undiscovered ancient creatures dwell? The ghostly phenomena and chilling local stories make Lake Natron a place many explorers choose not to return from. Other terrifying hypotheses. Some hypothesize that Lake Natron is sealed by a giant ancient creature, a monster living beneath the lake for millions of years, bound by supernatural energy. Some believe the lake was once a sacrificial ritual site of ancient tribes, cursed so that no real life ever returns. Many theories suggest the lake is a crossroads between the human world and the dark world, a portal for souls or otherworldly entities to pass through. Spiritual perspective, extraterrestrial entities or sealed demons. According to spiritualists and shamans of East Africa, Lake Natron is a convergence of evil energy and ancient magic. Mr. Mosi, a Maasai witch doctor, said, "Lake Natron imprisons dark souls, shadowy entities that cannot transcend. It is the boundary between life and death. Anyone who dares to trespass will be haunted by demons for life." Many recount that on full moon nights, the lake emits strange lights and indistinct murmurs, like an invisible warning to those curious enough to explore. Conclusion: Lake Natron is not only a bizarre natural phenomenon, but also a chilling legendary story about life, death, and undiscovered secrets. Amid the sun-scorched land and motionless petrified animals, one feels a primal fear. Fear of things beyond understanding, where science cannot explain, and spirituality whispers the secrets of the underworld. Is Lake Natron a gateway to the dark realm where ancient monsters sleep? Or simply a natural tableau of life and death and Earth's eternal journey? The answer may not be within our grasp, but the mysteries of Lake Natron will continue to attract, terrify, and haunt anyone daring enough to approach. For sometimes, in the darkest shadows lie the universe's greatest secrets. Call to action, connect with X Watch. Are you ready to step into a world of unsolved mysteries, where science intersects with spirituality, and chilling stories emerge from the deepest shadows of humanity? Join the X Watch community now, where every video is an exciting, thrilling, and eerie journey of discovery. From the mysterious voices of past lives to the gates of hell in Siberia, from cursed mummies to the no-return lands of the Atacama Plateau, all will be unveiled through a multi-dimensional perspective, including scientific analysis, spirituality, and terrifying hypotheses never before revealed. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a mystery. Because every story here is not just a legend, but an invitation for you to explore, debate, and uncover the strangest things on this planet. X Watch, where mysteries are illuminated, and you will never be alone on the quest for truth. Please like, comment, and share to spread the power of knowledge and limitless curiosity. Are you ready? Let's explore together right now.